Good morning, gardening friends. It is a new year, a new decade, a new year of the budget garden, and a new season, if you want to call it that. Lots of new stuff, and I'm in a new location. I don't think I released anything really last year. Admittedly, the last few years of the budget garden have been pretty bad. I've just been in bad locations and there hasn't really been a whole lot to report. I've been doing more YouTube videos on like fixing stuff and what have you. I also have a new camera, new phone with a better camera, so we're up to 4K now. Though admittedly right now this view is not really worthy of 4K, but I'm hoping to improve that. So I've been thinking about it, and you're looking at the side of the house that I'm living in, which is my parents' house. Um, yes, I moved back home with my parents. Yes, I'm in my 50s. Um, but also, in the last 6 months, I've lost almost 50 pounds. So that's a positive. Being back here at home is helping me sort of straighten out certain things in my life. It's given me a chance to hit reset. But one of my loves is gardening. And so you can see I've been trying to build. I've got like old file boxes that I have now taken the top off of. I cut some holes in the bottom and I've filled them with basically some of the soil from the ground here. This could probably be amended, and I have an idea for mulch. Basically, what I'm thinking is when I mow the lawn, actually, I'm going to rake the lawn first, then I'm going to mow it, and I'm going to take the grass clippings and use those as a mulch on top of these beds, these pots. Actually, this one here is not really intended to be a part of the garden, at least not for the moment. That is literally just I was digging out some of this area here. I needed a place to store the soil. Um, Ultimately, let me just sort of tell you what I'm thinking. And one of the first things, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I am getting pictures of where the sun's position is, because one of the first things I do in any kind of planning is figure out where the sun is during the day. So today I'm going to come out and about once an hour I'm going to take a picture, actually a couple of pictures, and figure out in this area where I can put a garden where the sun's going to be, so I can figure out the plants that require the most sun have got to go in the places that are going to get the most sun, and the plants that'll survive on less sun can go in the places that have the most shade. So that's kind of the idea there. Um, that's that's most of the plan at this point. I haven't decided exactly which plants I'm going to put in. I know there's certain things, like I always like to have a tomato, but we've been standing in the same location, and I know this doesn't look wonderful, but I'm hoping to make it all look a bit better. But this was the tomato plant I was working with last year, and actually right when I moved in, one of our family friends was going on a vacation for more than a month and was afraid that her tomato plant was just going to die. So she said, well, why don't you guys take care of it? And that was like perfect timing, because I just kind of needed to have something to take care of while I was getting moved and starting to get organized. So we enjoyed a few tomatoes off of this plant, but it's not getting the most sun right here. And if I actually work over here, you can see we've got a fair deal of sun right now on what I was calling the grazing garden, and I may continue to call it the grazing garden. We'll see. It's actually, what's nice is I can have some of my Swiss chard that I've got growing here. I can have that. Not a lot of people in my family like this, so I can pretty much just pick as I need. So it's been nice. And then I tried growing a nasturtium. It's not looking wonderful, but it's probably going to get better because we're going to start getting more sun. We've been going through winter. So that's kind of where we are on that. So that gives you an idea of what this all looks like. And in case anybody's wondering, yeah, we do have citrus trees back here. I'll kind of give you a good shot of that. That's the navel orange tree. And we've started picking off of this tree. Usually what we do is we wait until they get ripe and then we just pick the whole tree. But I'm suggesting this year that we basically just pick a dozen at a time or a couple of dozen at a time and juice them and enjoy them with breakfast, and then give away whatever we haven't used. And I don't mind coming out here and picking a dozen every 2, 3 days, whatever that ends up being. That's one tree. We've got 4 total trees here. That is, I forget, that one's the navel, and I forget what you call this one. But they're not quite ready yet. They're a little too yellow, greenish. The lemons, we basically pick off. We just wait until they turn yellow and get large enough and pull them off, and it pretty much provides lemons all year, especially in the summer. So we enjoy some fresh lemonade. And then the tangerine tree is in the neighborhood, has the reputation for being completely crazy, because we'll just pick it and then we will have bags upon bags of these fruits. And we give them away to the neighbors, and we're trying to figure out what to do with them. They're delicious. We just enjoy them. So that's the 4 trees. I'm going to be picking a little bit more today, but I'm also going to be, like I said, tracking the sun like I just did. Basically 8 o'clock in the morning, that's where the sun is sitting on the side of the house. And then I'm going to have to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with all of this. At one point I had down here, this is all rocks. I took all the big rocks that I had dug out as I was digging some of this. I started building a little bit of a retaining wall there. It's a very short retaining wall. It's not anything fancy. It's not anything professional. It's just some bricks put in place to kind of keep the separation. It would not hold back the hill itself. But if I continue to maintain the garden, I can continue to just keep it manicured back here. Speaking of which, there's also another thing is all of this, I don't know how well it's going to come out. In 4K, probably. There's a lot of weed grass growing in the ice plant. And I need to get up on the hill and get all of that picked. But this morning the sprinklers went off, so it's a little too wet to deal with that. I got to deal with all of that. I got to deal with some digging here. Just prepping the beds. I need to plan. I need to figure out how many square feet I've got, how many different types of seeds I can grow, what those seeds will be. So there's a lot of things to think about. And that's what I'm going to be doing the next few days. But that's pretty much the update. That's pretty much the episode. That's it for now until the next episode, which will probably follow up a few days later.